Corey Lewandowski, national campaign manager for the surging Donald Trump for president campaign, joining us now from Florida, fresh off I don't know what to call this, a massive King Kong-like triumph in Florida where Trump won everything. He won every county except for South Beach, Marco Rubio's hometown, getting nearly 50% of the vote in a closed primary where everybody said Trump was vulnerable. This is a closed Republican primary. We have estimates that the Trump campaign for president in the final 2 weeks in Florida got outspent something like 17 or 18 to 1, Romney-esque over what he did to Newt Gingrich. Get all this money spent on all these negative ads, and Trump with an unbelievably in-depth, significant victory in Florida, which is going to be a battleground state in 2016. Corey Lewandowski, national campaign manager, Donald Trump for president. Great to have you with us, man.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. You guys have been so good to us over the last many months, and with your support, I think we've got a great road ahead of us, so thank you.
Well, look, anytime, and it's always great to be the number one, the first political commentator, radio talk show host in the country to predict that Trump was going to be the nominee. Now, you look at your victories last night. I think you're still ahead in Missouri. I just looked. So it's likely you're going to win 4 of these 5 states, Corey, on Super Duper Tuesday, as we're saying it. I mean, the only state you don't win is Governor Kasich, who wins his home state. He ran a good race there. You guys have got to be excited about the results last night, right?
Well, we're definitely excited, and obviously, if you factor in the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, which also voted yesterday, we win 5 out of 6. John Kasich, what I said was, it's going to be hard to beat a sitting governor in a state where he won re-election with 86 out of 88 counties, but we are very, very pleased with the results last night. Obviously, the American people are speaking. They're speaking very loudly, and they're speaking for massive change, so we're very pleased.
Well, look, as you go forward now, you're in a commanding position. The only strategy that Governor Kasich has, and he said this publicly, is to go to the convention in Cleveland, deny Trump the nomination on the opening ballot, then everybody gets released, and somehow they cobble together a second, third, or ballot victory. But look, you guys are going to go into Cleveland. I think you could get to 1237, Corey, but if you don't, I mean, you're going to be darn close. How would that happen?
Well, if you look at what's left, a number of the states that are left are now winner-take-all or winner-take-most. And if you look at the states like California and New York and New Jersey and states like that where Mr. Trump is going to do exceptionally well, I think what you're going to find is that we will have more than 1,237 delegates going into Cleveland. And while I respect Governor Kasich, I think it is very fair to assume that he is mathematically eliminated from receiving the number of delegates. So if he really wants to unite the party, he should unite behind Donald Trump in our campaign right now.
Well, look, there's no math for him to get to 1237. He would have to win something like 87%. So, Corey, my question was this. We were talking about this earlier. The way Romney and his lawyers changed the rules in Tampa in 2012 says that in order for a candidate's name to be put in nomination on the floor of the convention, they have to win a majority of the available delegates in 8 states or territories. Well, the only 2 candidates that are going to go to Cleveland in a position to do that are Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. So if you're the Ohio governor, you can't even right now have your name be put in nomination because there's no math that says he'll win 8 states. So how does he work through that?
Well, you're exactly right. It's called Rule 40B, and the interesting part is the GOP establishment put this in place to prevent Dr. Paul from challenging Mitt Romney, which was supposed to be the incumbent protection bill. And what happened, as you know now, that this has backfired on the establishment. They wanted to change the rules again. They've talked about changing the rules so that they can put someone else's name into nomination at the convention, but we're not going to allow that to happen. There will be a massive uprising if they try and change the rules at this point. So there's one candidate in the race who has qualified under the current rules to actually have their name placed into nomination. We've been through over 20 contests, and the only candidate that's qualified under Rule 40B, meaning you've won the majority of delegates in 8 or more states or territories, is Donald Trump. And if you look at the delegates going forward, the short answer is if we receive 50% of the remaining delegates, Donald Trump will receive the magic number of 1237 or more. Ted Cruz has to receive 80% of the delegates moving forward. He is almost mathematically eliminated. It would be the best thing for everyone, for a unified front, to go after Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, or whoever that nominee is going to be, is to get behind the Trump campaign right now, unify, have a one strong position, one strong candidate right now who is a proven winner in states that other Republicans will not win. States like New York, states like Massachusetts, states like potentially California, Michigan, Ohio, places like that where Donald Trump is going to win that other campaigns cannot win. We need them to unify behind the Trump campaign right now, bring the party together. As you know, he is the only candidate expanding the field. He's bringing new people in. He's bringing people who have not voted in, decades to come and support this campaign. So what we want is everyone to come together, join with Donald Trump in our campaign to go forward to the convention unified and come out as the strongest party possible to beat the Democrats in November.
Well, look, that is what we all should do, but that is not going to happen right now. You heard Governor Kasich yesterday in his speech saying he's going to take this to Cleveland, the only way that he could win, and he said this in CPAC Live in front of thousands of people, was at an open convention on a down ballot. Same thing for Cruz. And they're like organizing efforts to get as many delegates there. But so is the Trump effort. Like in our District 4 in Virginia, myself and Robert Ike are running a campaign in order to win to go to Cleveland. So we want to be sure that we have people there that are going to tell everybody what is exactly going on, and they're going to stand tall in that situation. But you look at this.
John, here's the other thing. With all due respect to the governor, says he's going to take this to Cleveland. I heard Marco Rubio say, I'm not getting out of this race, and I've heard every other candidate, the day before they get out say, I'm going to be in this thing till the end, and Jeb Bush is never going to get out. This is the difference. These guys are all talk, no action. They're politicians who will say and do anything to keep their donors engaged. And with all due respect to the governor, he has no path. He is one win out of 29 contests. He's 1 in 28. If that was a football coach, he would have been fired 2 seasons ago. Look, the bottom line is you have to prove you can win. And unfortunately for Governor Kasich, he's won one contest on his home turf where he has spent all of his resources, had the endorsement of the Republican Party, had all of the support of all of the people in his state, and he pulled out a victory. And congratulations to the governor. But when he finished his victory speech last night, I saw confetti come flying like he was just elected president of the United States. I said, right. You've won 1 out of 29 contests. I wouldn't say that this is, a massive undertaking. So, I think what you find is that there's truly one candidate who continues to win and continues to win in places like a state of Florida. It wasn't a close election, candidly. It was a blowout last night for Donald Trump. They spent $25 million against Donald Trump last week alone in the state of Florida, and his numbers continue to go up because the American people are tired of the ineptitude of the Washington, D.C. establishment and the bureaucrats there.
Okay, now, they spent $25 million. I was trying to get an accurate number. Looks like you have it. We heard that the Trump campaign spent $1 million in advertising. So are you telling me that in Florida, in the final 2 weeks, you guys got outspent 25-1 and still won in a blowout?
Well, look, honestly, they spent more than that because in the last 2 weeks, they spent about $18 million in 1 week and then $25 million the week after that, meaning last week. And this is the difference. This is what drives me crazy, is the professional political pundit class goes out and tells all of their candidates to spend more money on TV so that they can make more money. Their commercials are terrible. People don't believe it anymore. People know Donald Trump, and what they know is that he's a leader who's going to get things done. And what we have seen in this race from the day he entered and said, I'm going to run for president, is that every single candidate who has attacked Donald Trump has gone down the polls. That goes from Rand Paul to Bobby Jindal to Rick Perry to you name it, right down the list. And Marco Rubio is the latest example of that. If you remember coming out of the second to last debate that we did, Marco Rubio spent 2 days on the campaign trail attacking Donald Trump, and his poll numbers plummeted.
Right.
And in his home state of Florida, Donald Trump won 66 out of 67 counties. The only county that Marco Rubio won was his home county. It was such a demonstration of force, of a rebuke of the attacks on Donald Trump, that I think it should give pause to all the other candidates who, if they want to attack him or not.
It was certainly a major drubbing. And when you start doing the math, 18 and 25 is 43 million, and you guys spent 1 million in advertising. So you got outspent 43-1 in the final 2 weeks and won a massive victory. That, to me, is the thing last night that got missed. I want to get to some of the things out there, people saying that you've denied access to this person on Politico or whatever. I just want to say this straight out, and then I'm going to get to my question. I'm in the media. So is my wife. We've been in your company at Trump events, Corey, a number of times for a long period of time in many different situations, some of them volatile, no question, whether it's at a debate or something else. I just want to tell my audience that Corey Lewandowski, with myself and my wife, has been a perfect gentleman at every turn in every situation, without doubt, been responsive, answers questions. You know, there's certain times you just can't get access because there's 85 people there, whether it was in Cleveland or LA or wherever we were at any of these debates, rallies I've been at. And I have found you, Corey, to be one of the most perfect gentlemen that I've ever met. So when I see some of these things coming out, I don't buy it because I just haven't seen it with us at all. And so, look, we've got this one reporter from Politico saying they were denied access to an event that you had. What's the deal here?
So let me just say, first and foremost, number one, at any public event where the media is at, I always go back to the press riser, and I'm always available for questions.
That's true.
John,
that is absolutely
I'm
true.
Honored to have the privilege of serving on this campaign, and I go and talk to the media every day, and I've got amazing relationships with those people.
That's true.
Let me also say, I don't handle the press credentialing at every event. I know that's a difficult thing to fathom, but I don't pick and choose which reporters come and don't come to events. That's just not my role in the campaign, to be very clear. And so, we leave that to our team to decide how much room there is, which reporters should be allowed access. We try and limit, candidly, the foreign press just because most of the venues have so much media that we just don't have the room to get everyone in. But it's not, and I'm not trying to pass the buck. At the end of the day, I'm the campaign manager, but I don't make the day-to-day decisions of who comes and who doesn't come into venues and, where our lights are going to be set up and which flag is going to be put behind those, the candidates, et cetera. But what I will tell you is that, Donald Trump has answered more questions from the media and done more interviews than all of the other candidates combined. I am a person who is readily accessible to the media. I have a great relationship with these people. I've, had the privilege of traveling with a lot of this media for the last 8 or 9 months now. And, we give a lot of information on background. I spend a lot of time just sitting in the press riser talking to reporters and answering their questions. I'm always available. So I'm not trying to limit anyone's access to anything. That's not what we do. And look, as you know, we don't get a lot of favorable stories from the mainstream media, but that doesn't prevent us from continuing to talk to them every day because that's their job and we have our job to do.
Look, absolutely. And I can say this as living, breathing proof for what you've just said. I've been to 6 Trump rallies. I've broadcast 3 or 4 of them. I don't remember, actually live on the air. I've been to 6 of the debates. You're always accessible. You answer every question that time permits. When I apply for credentials, I don't send them to the campaign manager, as you said. They're sent to the New York press office. I don't have any idea who looks at them, but I always get a timely answer back. And as I've said, what you're saying, I can corroborate it because I've been there at every single turn. And when I read some of this stuff, it was a head scratcher to me, Corey, because in our dealings and with my dealings with the Trump campaign, and look, when I'm in there, I'm just one of 100 people in the gaggle trying to get access. I'm like everybody else in there. And so when I don't have the big, media company behind me, I don't have the big, boom mic and things. I'm just an average guy. And so I can say access as everybody else, but your candidate's accessible. You're accessible. Your communications director is accessible. Nobody's denied. But look, when you're out of time, you're out of time. And there's been times I've been there where I've said, hey, I want 2 minutes, and time just doesn't permit. You got to go on the plane or something else. So, look, I can just speak from myself and my wife, who have been accessible, and you have been a perfect gentleman and professional at every single turn, period.
Well, I appreciate you being honest. As you know, you may not believe this, but sometimes the mainstream media doesn't tell the truth. I know that's difficult for your listeners to believe, but look, some people have their own agenda, too, whatever that may be. And I think it's very fair to say that the establishment class does not want the president. They want to see anybody but Donald Trump be the nominee. And I think the narrative within the media is, look, we can't control Donald Trump, so we don't want him to be the nominee either. So, you know what? We fight the press in a way where sometimes we have the privilege, because of Mr. Trump's Twitter feed and Facebook and other social media components, to go directly to the American public. That's why this campaign has been so successful. We have not had to rely on the mainstream media, who does not cover the campaign in many instances accurately. Now, there are some good reporters, don't get me wrong, some very good and capable people who we work with every day. But it's very important that we have an outlet that allows us to go directly to the people. They can read Mr. Trump's Twitter feed. They can go to his Facebook page. And I also think that's why Ben Carson was so successful in this campaign, because he built the exact same model where he went and bypassed the mainstream media and went directly to the people. And that is what allows candidates to get their message out.
That's the bottom line. I want to thank Corey Lewandowski, National Campaign Manager, Donald Trump for President. More information, DonaldJTrump.com. Thanks, man. Good luck.